Right, welcome to the relationship show. This guy writes this post. I never know how to navigate conversations through dating apps. He's 32. His dating apps feel like my only shot at ever meeting someone, but I find that I can never get the conversations right. It feels like I either don't try to advance things soon enough and then the conversation fizzles out, or I try to advance things too soon and they back off. I just can't seem to find the middle ground and I don't know what's appropriate. Well, you want to be decisive. You want to get to the point. You want to be direct. You don't want to know what you want. So is what you want to get her on a date. And so work towards that outcome. I also feel like I don't really know how to keep an interesting conversation going on these apps. On one hand, I don't want to go through so many topics that it leaves us with little to talk about if it did result in a date, which it really never has for me. But on the other hand, most people don't want to advance things with someone they feel like they don't know very well. Sometimes, and it's like with dating apps, it's like there's less, in a lot of cases, less of a connection to start from. And that connection from the start is important because that's really your margin of safety, your margin of error that you have. So, for instance, if you approach a woman with like total confidence and she's attracted to you, and then you ask her out in a really direct and decisive way, then it's like she might have a lot higher attraction level to you, especially if she's seen you in person. So all that like fake profile stuff, that's eliminated. It's like she knows you're a real person. Then how you act and how you made her feel in that moment can really relate a lot to her attraction level. So say she starts from like an 8 attraction level to you versus at like a 6 with online dating. So it's like you just have much more margin of safety if you ask her out in person or start from a high level of interest. So you are dealing with that situation where it's like you're starting from a lower point, so you have less mistakes to make. He says, so I just don't really know what to talk about, what questions to ask, and how/when to start moving from point A to point B. It feels like I get it wrong 100% of the time, and I can't seem to learn the right way. I would ask her a few questions like what do you do for fun? Just basic stuff like that. And then once she gives you responses that are like halfway decent, it's like then you set a date. You set a definite date, and you want to get to the point maybe after like 2 texts. You set a date. If she seems cool, and then just get to your outcome. If she says his objection is he doesn't think that people will go on dates or advance things if they don't know you well. Well, if they do, then so what? You know, it's like, well, you made your move. And if they say no or they have hesitation, it's like, well, you say, or let's say you set a date and she says, well, I don't really know you very well. It's too soon. You say, well, that's my outcome is getting on dates, not really, just chatting on these dating apps. It seems like, if that's your experience, it doesn't seem like, if it doesn't seem like a lot of people get on these apps and actually have success. And I want to have success on these dating apps. I want to get on definite dates. And so that's what you communicate to her. If she says she doesn't go with it or doesn't respond, it's like you walk away, you move on to the next one. You do the same thing. It's like that's your outcome to get that. Some people won't do it, but some people will. So for instance, and ideally you want to get her to message you first. And like this situation, she just sent me like winky face. So I said, hey, looks like you're a ways away. Do you pass through my town much? So I'm just getting to the outcome. It's like, hey, is it even possible to see each other? She says, sadly, no. I said, well, let me know if something changes. Another situation. So I just walk away. It's like, if you don't get your outcome, walk away. Another one. She says, you're handsome. Tell me something I don't know, I said, with a wink and sunglass emoji. You get to my area much? She says, that's the attitude I like to hear. No, I'm really never down there, LOL. I said, fair enough. Feel free to reach out if something changes. Someone I know. So if it's like a situation where you match with someone that you know, she says, Noah, OMG, how have you been? Hey, her name. I've been good. It would be great to catch up over dinner sometime. Do you come to my area much? She lives about an hour away now. She says, hi, yes, I'd love that. I totally can. How was your week? She actually, so it's like I went to set a date and then she's like, okay, I said, great, my week was good. What days are you free? So I said, I'm waiting for like a response, like what to make this happen. And then she was kind of like hesitant, a little bit flaky. She's like, hi, sorry for the late reply. Last few days have been busy. My mom is selling her house. She just signed and gave the keys to the new owners today. Yeah, seems legit, but it's like I still asked like what days you're free, and then you just avoided the question. So I didn't even respond to that after that. And I was just like, yeah, I didn't respond. She texted me 2 days later, how was your week? I didn't respond to that either because it's like, well, I went for the outcome. I didn't really get it. And so it's like, I'll just walk away. So what? Let's see some ones that worked. She says, oh, please tell me you're at least 6 feet. That's because she's 5'11 herself. I said, maybe yes, maybe no. Please tell me you still have some of that elk meat first. So I didn't give her a straight answer. And so it's like I didn't reveal things. I kept it a little bit of a mystery. Just that's a lot of like what playfulness comes down to in a lot of cases is like not giving her like a specific answer, especially to things that aren't like relevant. And then she had a picture of elk, so just comment on that. I have elk, deer, bear, take your pick. She's like open. She's like receptive. Yeah, I said that's 6'1", teasing on me, but I'd love to take you to dinner. How often do you get to my area? Well, I mean, there's no way this girl can eat an entire elk by herself. I don't make it down there often, but conveniently I plan to come down middle of March to visit some friends. Elk looks delicious. Great. Well, let's get in touch and make that dinner happen. What's your phone number, Snapchat, and last name? I would absolutely love that. Phone number, Snapchat, last name. But a lot of them, it's like if they message me, it's just like I may have matched with them, and it's like I don't really see it working. Then they'll message me, and I just don't even respond, just because it's like, well, if I respond to her, I'm kind of leading her on, and it's like if I lead her on, it's like I don't really have an outcome to go on a date with her. I don't really have a desire to go on a date with her. Maybe I just swiped right because it was like she had a really good profile picture, but then all of a sudden it's like, well, she didn't really represent herself the best way. She did represent herself the best way in her profile pic, but it was like she didn't really look like herself in other pictures. Or I just couldn't see, or maybe she's like doing like drugs or whatever. Or you see that a lot, like them smoking pot or whatever. But it's like, well, am I really gonna date a girl, like that? It's like, yeah, it's whatever, but it's like, it might be like a hookup situation, but it's like, I don't really want to put a bunch of effort into a date with someone that I couldn't really see myself with. It seemed to be just kind of like acting in ways that aren't really like productive or related to growth or related to improving themselves. So it's just like qualified people like that. But those are some examples. But just get to the point is in a few steps. And it's like if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out and you move on. It's like, and a lot of times, it might not. Maybe the distance is an issue, maybe the other things are issues, but it's like, well, so what? You move on, and it's just like it's like a numbers game with online dating. It can take a lot of matches to get, one date. Probably more so than, meeting people in person. I think meeting people in person is more effective because it's like you had that higher level of initial connection, especially if you know what to do, know how to convert someone, like specifically. So you have a date or you get her number right there, and then act with like, assume that she'll give it to you. So she's like, hey, what's your phone number? Just assume it and like take out your phone like you already got it, or like she's already going to say yes, or just do things like, hey, when are you free to get together? What's your schedule availability like? What days are you free? All assuming that she'll say yes. It's just a matter of her schedule. So ask like that. Ask from a place of confidence because it's a stronger position to come from versus like do you think maybe I could get your number or something like that? It's like that comes from a place of uncertainty versus assuming comes from a place of certainty. And you'll have a much higher success rate doing assuming that you will get her number or get her on a date.